Hello, this is teddygaming, welcome back to another video. In today's one, we're going to be looking at all the tmnt comic books that will be coming out in September. So let's go! Okay, so on September 13th, we had the tmnt and the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Volume 2, the trade paperback. So basically, this book will be collecting issue number 1 through 5 of the tmnt Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Volume 2. Now this one, I don't really know what to really say about this book just because all the descriptions and all that has already come out, so I'm not too sure what I can really say about it. But it's coming out on September 13th, it's going to cost $20, which I must admit, pretty decent price for this book. And there's some other little things in here which I do feel like you might want to know. We do have the writer, who is Ryan Parrott, we have artist Dan Mora, the colorist Rul Agula, and we have the cover artist who is Dan Mora, who did the actual comic book art inside. So yeah, that's pretty much all the information you need to know about this book. It comes out September 13th, and yeah. Okay, so going over to September 20th, we do have quite a few books. So the first one is the tmnt and Stranger Things, issue number 3. Okay, so the description is, enter Earth Upside Down. Leo, Mikey, Will, Lucas, and Dustin enter Earth Upside Down to learn more about the demon dogs running around NYC. However, as the turtles enter the new territory, they'll find something familiar, and in Baxter Stockman's lab, Eleven must wrestle to control her mind away from the mad scientist. Luckily, she'll have help in this battle with the minds from the turtles with the most mental restraint, Raphael. Wait, what? So yeah, I must admit, overall, that does sound like a really interesting issue, especially Raph helping Eleven, and I do think that where they are taking this whole series is a pretty interesting direction, and something which I am really interested to see how they do pull this all off. So I must admit, overall, I'm looking forward to this one. Okay, so for this comic, we do have 8 covers revealed. I must admit, they all do look really great and really interesting. I'm going to have a few going on the screen right now, but yeah, I must admit, they all do look really great, really amazing, really interesting. We've got one from Farrah Penchy, Jules Corona, Jen Woodwall, Adam Gorham, and a few other ones, and I must admit, they all look really great and really amazing. Okay, so on September 20th, we'll begin the tmnt, the RW ongoing series, issue 143. So for the description, it is, Dr. Barlow holds a member of the Claw Clan hostage. Alpex has run out of options, and she can't take on Dr. Barlow alone. Forced to seek the aid of the tmnt, those friendships she renounced after they forego their alliance with the Shredder, Alpex forms an uneasy truce with the Turtles. One that is put to test, where they must work together to bring Dr. Barlow to justice. Meanwhile, Leatherhead gets a new perspective of the consequences of his work in forcing Dr. Barlow's plans. So yeah, I must admit, overall, that does sound like a really great and really interesting issue, and I can't wait to see how Alpex is actually going to interact with these turtles. I'm also somewhat curious to see who she'll be interacting with. Just because in this description, they don't actually go on to explain that basically Alpex is going to be meeting up with Leonardo and Donatello, who are going after Dr. Barlow, or she's going to be meeting up with Jenica and Raph. So I must admit, I do find that pretty interesting, just because it feels like it could go either way, but one option is more interesting than the other. Now surprisingly, with this comic, we do have quite a few interesting covers, just because we do have 8 covers revealed, and I'm not exactly too sure why, but I must admit it's pretty interesting. So this comic, we do have one by Gavin Smith, Kevin Eastman and Sophie Campbell, we've got one by Alex Sanchez, I'm pretty sure I said that wrong, we have one done by Jim Lawson, and yeah, I don't know what to really say about that. That's just amazing and just so great. And I do have some ones done by Eric Henson, which do look really great and amazing. But I must admit, I'm somewhat confused why there's so many covers coming out, just because this issue doesn't really seem like it's going to be a big important one. But I know with like September covers, for some reason they also do give out a lot of covers, but I just don't really know why there's so many covers for this one. But they're still cool nonetheless. Okay, so on September 20th, we do have the tmnt, the Armageddon Game, the Alliance trade paperback. Now I must admit, this one is really interesting for me, just because I like all the stories separately and do think they work really well, but also combined they do work really well as well, so I'm so curious to see if like maybe my opinions on this book will change, just because, you know, maybe reading it all as one just may change my opinions on the story, but you never know. Now this one, I'm not going to go into the description for this book just because it's basically all stuff which we've read before and stuff like that. And basically this book will have all 6 issues from the Alliance, as have all the artists that are on that book and stuff like that. So I don't really know what to really say other than just go out and get it, I say. Now this book will be costing $20, but again I do think that's a really good price for this one. And I do think that this could honestly be one of the best told books they have released, just because, you know, like story on each character and then combined story, I think it works so well. So I do want to reread it again just to maybe have like a different opinion about it, but overall I do think that like that's a really great book. And even though personally I haven't read it in this format, but I do think people will maybe enjoy it a lot more if you do read it as like one big book. So yeah, that's coming out on September 20th. Okay, so moving over to September 27th, where the TMNT and Street Fighter issue number 4. So I must admit, this one has been, I don't want to say a bad series so far, but I just don't really have much interest in reading this one, so who knows, maybe this could be the comic that really gets me into this series. I'm not too sure, you never know, maybe. Okay, so the description is, with Raphael and Chun-Li kidnapped, the remaining members of the Turtles and Street Fighters enter into the shaky truce. But their combined might may not be enough for Stockman and then Bison harvesting their latent psycho power for their own use. Can they find their missing comrades in time? See, I must admit, overall, that discussion does somewhat get me a little bit excited for this series, but at the same time, I don't know what to really say about it. It's just not really like, hooking me into it, but at the same time, I want to be excited, so I'll give it a chance, but it's just not really hooking me onto it just yet. But you never know. So with this comic, we also do have 8 covers again, which again I find really interesting. So we do have ones done by Ariel Medrell, Jason Cardy, Tom Riley, Vincent Frederick, Elizabeth Bales, Daniel Warren Johnson, and Robbie Rodriguez. I'm pretty sure I said that one wrong, so yeah, sorry. I do have a few going on screen right now, but I must admit they all do look really great and really amazing. The one that's really caught my eyes is the one done by Vincent Frederick, just because this one is a connecting cover with, like, you know, the other issues. But this one is really interesting just because it's the IDW Turtles with the IDW characters, such as like Old Hob, who has not appeared in this series yet, but I doubt he will appear in this one. So I just find it really interesting that like, some of these characters are in this, like on this cover, and yet they're not actually in this like series, and still we don't really know if this one is really technically canon yet with the IW Turtles. If what like appears to be happening in this cover for the cover A is true, then it definitely does make it not canon because Shredder is away in Dimension Z, but he's here on Earth. So I just find it really interesting, and if you know, if it's not canon, then I just find it really weird that I have all these characters from the W comics on this one, so yeah, I just find it so weird. Okay, so on September 27th, we do have the TMNT, the Last Ronin Director's Cut hardcover back. So I must admit, this one's going to be really interesting. So this book is going to cost you $50 and will be about 300 pages long. Now this book is going to have about 75 pages worth of character designs, concept art, sketches, as well as parts of the original draft ideas from the original creators. So I must admit, I do find that really interesting. But at the same time, I did pick up the original director's cut way back in, I think it was 2021, and also the design artist, I think it was. So I'm not too sure what really going to be adding into this new book. Just because I do feel as though that like, what they did release so far in those 2 books was really great and really amazing, but at the same time I'm not too sure what they really can include other than what they have included so far, and if it's the exact same stuff then maybe a little bit of a rip-off. But at the same time I do think there's going to be a lot more really interesting stuff in there just because they can reveal a lot more stuff other than just like sort of like not really spoiling stuff, so I do think there could be some really interesting stuff in there. Not to mention, when they did release the first director's cut back in 2021, they did also basically include the first issue of The Last Ronin, so I'm still curious to see if they will be including any issues of The Last Ronin into this book, but I must admit, so far, with what I'm seeing so far, I do think that $50 is a little bit too expensive for something like this, but at the same time, I do think that there could be some really fun, interesting stuff in there, but I just don't think it's really worth $50, but at the same time, you just never know, so who knows, maybe it could be worth it, I guess. We'll find out. Okay, and then for the final book, It is the tmnt, the Simon Adventures issue number 5. And oh boy, this one's going to be a really interesting, really great one. Okay, so the description is, with Donatello and Raphael away, Genghis Frog and Napoleon Bonafrog join Leonardo and Michelangelo in New York City to keep watch for unexpected evil schemes by the Shredder. Instead, they're met with unexpected return of Baxter Stockman, and he's itching to try out a prototype invention against the Turtles. The Simon Adventures continue with the conclusion of the two-part arc, Swapping Pads. So overall, feels though that this issue is going to be really interesting, just because even though the Simon Adventures issue number 4 hasn't come out, I do think it's going to be a really great issue with Donatello, Raphael teaming up with the other two frogs against Leatherhead. I think that sounds really amazing. But it also feels though that, like, with these two frogs teaming up with Mikey and Leo against Baxter Stockman, it doesn't really sound as though that's going to be all too amazing. But at the same time, I really want to be wrong, because I got a feeling that with how like this universe does things and how this comic book does things, I got a feeling it could be really fun and really interesting, really entertaining. So I'm open to be wrong, but I just really want it to be fun. And I got a feeling that it will, but at the same time, it's the punk frogs in this universe and stuff like that that really makes me go, huh, maybe not. But again, I want to be wrong so much. Okay, so for this comic we do have 5 covers. The first one's done by Jack Lawrence, we've got one done by Dan Schewing, one done by Audrey Suntrup, I'm pretty sure I said that wrong, so sorry. We've got one done by Yed McCardigo, I know I said that wrong, so sorry. And I must admit, they all do look really great. One thing that's somewhat annoying me a little bit now is the fact that you got the main artist, Dan Schewing, who's not really doing the regular cover A, he's doing cover B, which I do find that to be really weird, but at the same time, it is what it is. But I just find it really weird that you've got the main cover artist not really doing the main cover, so I find that to be really weird. I don't know if that's anyone else got that feeling, but you know, I just find that really weird. And one thing which I want to say as well is the fact that with the past 2 issues, which one thing which I absolutely hated about the covers was the fact that it said on their like new series, and now they finally got rid of that like annoying, ugly looking sticker, and we get to see it for all its glory. And oh boy, these covers are so amazing. I'm so happy that I got rid of the new series sticker thing, and oh god, it's so amazing, so great, yay. But yeah, that's all the comics that will be coming out in September. Let me know in the comment section below what comic you're looking forward to the most. I'm not too sure what one I'm looking forward to the most. I feel like the one which I'm looking forward to the most is either the Simon Adventures stuff or the ongoing series, but you never know how some of these comics may turn out and stuff like that. But all the other ones, they do sound really great, but like, I feel like half of this is made up of like trade paperbacks and hardcovers and stuff like that, which stuff which I'm not really looking forward to just because I've already seen the materials. So yeah, I feel like that may be a little bit of a disadvantage, but it is what it is, I guess. But yeah, let me know in the comment section below what one you're looking forward to. And yeah, that's gonna be it for today, guys. If you're awesome, please share. Let's just grab note stuff. Goodbye, yo, bye.